Hi everyone, Des Adams with a very exciting video today on a book that's had an incredible impact on my life, The Magic of Thinking Big. And I was first introduced to this book by a friend of mine when I was at university, and I went through it in great detail, and I never realized the impact it was going to have on the things that I did, but I'll be able to explain that as I go through. I think success means something very different to everyone. One thing though is certain, that there is one thing all successful people have in common: they believe in themselves. And I think believing in yourself generates a special energy that nothing else seems to really touch. And it gives you the courage to achieve your goals and overcome any obstacles in your way. So what does thinking big actually mean? I'll go through some of those, but before that I want to tell you a story about the impact it had on me. When I finished uni, I went out teaching for 3 years, and I think I mentioned before, in a small country town in Victoria. 3 of the most enjoyable times of my life. But I always had that burning desire for something bigger to do. And I actually ended up while I was teaching, I was at uni rather, we were actually paid. We were one of the few people who were paid to go to uni. And I managed to save enough money so that after 3 years of teaching, I said, okay, I'm off. I want to go around the world. So even though I'd been able to save money, I ended up hitching across the Nullarbor Plain in Australia from Melbourne to Perth, which is about 2,100 odd miles. And at the time, this is in the late 60s, and it showed me the generosity of people, because they actually people gave, the incredible. A couple picked me up at about halfway across and dropped me right to the front door in Perth, of friends of our family. But from there I flew out to Bali, thinking I was going all around the world, and ending up living in Bali for the next 2 years. But the effect of this book, while I was in Bali, I met a guy who spoke several languages fluently, and we were having a meeting at the Bali Beach Hotel in Sanur, and he met this architect from Germany, and got on. Oh, we got on like a house on fire with him. He had this incredible ability to tell jokes. My friend of mine had this ability to tell jokes in different foreign languages. And anyhow, he convinced this architect to design a hotel for Kuta Beach, which at that time, all Kuta Beach was in Bali, and those who've been to Bali, they know Kuta Beach very well. But at that time, it was just coconut trees and a few, open fields, and a few lodgements, like small hotels. Anyhow, he convinced this German architect to design this hotel, 200-room hotel for Kuta Beach. And we thought nothing more of it. He went back to Germany, and we thought, oh, okay, yeah. And the next thing comes this huge project, like a massive model of a hotel with all the detailed plans, specifications, everything, to build this hotel. So I ended up flying back to Australia, and I submitted all the plans to a construction. There weren't many construction companies in Australia prepared to take on international projects at that time, but we actually got a commitment from them of $12 million to build this hotel at Kuta. And of course we were over the moon. But the problem was that the Indonesians had to have 51% of the project, and unfortunately no company in Australia was prepared to take that gamble, because Indonesia in the 60s had been through a communist uprising and incredible instability. So So that was a magic of thinking big. You know, I mean, here was I had never had any contacts, and I went back to Australia and just waltzed up to this construction company and you know, sat in the boardroom and presented this whole project. They were absolutely wrapped in it. They thought it was a fabulous project because it would have been the first major. It would have actually been, no, not the first, but probably the second major hotel to be built in Bali at the time. So the seeds of thinking big were actually sown when I was at university, and I think it's amazing to be able to express that in so many different ways. And with the I'm just trying to call up my notes. So there's four key strategies for thinking big. The first one is don't sell yourself short. Realize your capabilities, and that's very, very true. The second one is develop a vocabulary, and this is very important. Develop a vocabulary of positive words, words that will inspire you. Always talk about yourself and others using favourable, positive words. That is so important because a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking a little bit negative, and that flows across to their friends and their family. Imagine and see the possibilities of what can be, and that was us in Bali, you know, with this idea of building a hotel. Number 4, don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah, that's so important. A lot of people end up focusing on the small stuff and never achieve anything. Success means winning, and for everyone it should be the goal of life, and I think it is. Remember the biblical quotation that faith can move mountains. That is certainly true. It's all about belief. You can win at success by believing you can succeed. And once you believe I can do it, the how to do it follows. Isn't that interesting? You've got to make the belief has to be there first to believe that you can achieve something, and then the how follows logically on. A person is a product of their own thoughts. Believe big. And how do you develop this power of belief? Well, there's 3 key things that are mentioned in the book. The first one is think success, don't think failure. Wherever you are, when opportunity appears, think I can do it. Thinking failure is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Number 2, remind yourself constantly you are better than you think you are. Success is not based on luck. And number 3, believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think small and you'll get little achievements. And after that episode with the hotel in Bali, it was quite a while before there was any major construction on the island of Bali, but of course now it's completely changed. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to continue on with this book because it's an absolute gem, a book that everyone who wants to succeed should grab. And this copy of mine has been around. It was printed in 1965, and I was at uni in the 60s, so I must have got it when one of the first editions came out. So very, very pleased to share this with you, and I'm going to continue on in the series of this because it is an amazing book to go through, and I recommend to everyone. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.